So as people may have realized from our last few BBCs, this last week we've been hosting the 21st Western Buddhist Monastic Gathering. And for us at the Abbey, it's been like a total delight and joy to host 30 monastics here, and then including people in the community too, for a week where we could really sit down and talk to each other as friends. And we had the wonderful support of a number of lay people who've come up to help, which we really appreciate what you've done. And these gatherings have been going on for over 21 years, because it's the 21st. And over the years, many of us have become quite good friends, and then many new people have joined in. So it's really been quite enriching. And I know for me, starting the Abbey here, I got a lot of my ideas, and I could check things out with my Dharma friends that I made through these Western Buddhist teachers gatherings, because it's people from all the different Buddhist traditions, and so many of them had opened monasteries before. When I was starting the Abbey, I needed advice and ideas, and so I would call them and get ideas, and it was always very, very helpful. And now this time it was interesting. It's the first time we've been able to host it, because now we have Chenrezig Hall. So I felt very, very much gratitude for all of our benefactors and all of the people who helped us to build Chenrezig Hall so that we can have this kind of event here, because the Abbey didn't grow out of nothing. It's a lot of people's energy and effort. So I really had to rejoice in that. And especially the 21st, which is a special number, then, to be able to welcome everybody here. And we got so much good feedback about the Abbey. I was sitting there kind of all week trying not to get attached to pleasant sounding words and praise and approval, because people were just, giving it and being really impressed, not only, with the situation of the Abbey and the beauty of the grounds and the buildings and so on, but just so many people commented about the community and how friendly and warm the community is, how people really took care of others. And so that was something that was really wonderful to hear, because that shows that our training is working. And that we're doing something good that is affecting others in a beneficial way. Yeah. So there's lots of time in the gathering for personal conversations, which was really good, because we had people from all the different traditions here. So we would talk about, common things, and some of us have known each other over years, so we would talk about what's happened since in the last year. But the first day of the program, we did just an open session where people shared their original impetus for ordaining. What was it that touched your heart and made you ordain? And so we shared that. And then in the afternoon, we did another open session and heard what people found, what were the challenges in adhering to their initial aspiration to ordain. Yeah. So some of the challenges came from external things, some came from internal factors, but people really shared very openly. Then the second day in the morning, Bhikkhu Bodhi gave a presentation about Buddhism in the social and communal world, and he's putting out a book with many quotations from the Pali Canon about this. So he went through some of the quotations with us and used that as the structure for his talk. And then in the afternoon of that day, we had a Q&A session. And I found that session really interesting, because we started talking about our different views of the Dharma, and especially we spent a long time talking about karma and what was due to karma, what isn't due to karma, how do we understand karma. So it was really quite interesting, and then, some other topics as well. And then the afternoon of the second day, we went down to the new land that we purchased down at the bottom of the hill. And that was really lovely because in the afternoon, many people, we did homemade prayer flags, So somebody, I think it must have been an old sheet, tore an old sheet up and stitched it around and then put markers out there. And people put all their good wishes with markers on the prayer flags. And then we took them down, and then inside the house at the altar, we had each group of people do chanting to bless the new land. Yeah, so we had the Theravadas who did one of their auspicious chantings, and then we had a Chinese monk chant, we had a couple of Koreans chant, we had our friends from the Zen tradition in Shasta Abbey chant, then we all did Nagarjuna's 20 verses, and then to cap it off, we did Star Spangled Compassion. Yeah, which was really fun. Yeah, but that was a really beautiful day, kind of bringing everybody together, and then we hung the prayer flags out in the yard. And they're still there. And then on Thursday, we had a panel, 5 people speaking. It was called In the Trenches. And they spoke, these were 5 people who were, in the trenches, starting monastic communities, working with monastics, living the monastic life. And so they shared their experience, what the challenges were, what the joys were, and how they handled the difficulties, how they worked with their mind when they faced challenges in setting up communities and in practicing and in sustaining their Dharma life. And then in the afternoon of Thursday, there was a panel, advice from the seniors or something like that. Anyway, that was Bhikkhu Bodhi and me and Reverend Master Ando from Shasta Abbey. And it was amazing to me. We all, gave these talks. And I turned to Reverend Ando afterwards and said, we all said the same thing, even though we come from 3 different traditions. And she said, yeah, we did. And it was really interesting to see. We all said it in different language and different words, but the meaning was the same, and especially emphasizing the long-term view, having a strong mind, a courageous mind, thinking about how your practice and your Dharma work will be of benefit and service to others. Yeah, so it was really quite a nice session. I enjoyed that one. And then yesterday morning, we did a go-around where people what really touched our heart in the gathering and what we were going to take away with us. So it was a very nice concluding session. And then around lunchtime, everyone went, ooh. And there's just, a few of you, 2 of you left to our guests, and everybody disappeared. But we hope, everybody will come once again. We'll be able to host. Oh, so let me add. I think these kind of meetings are really important. When His Holiness the Dalai Lama asked me to work on the book Buddhism, One Teacher, Many Traditions, it was, he said that he has much more contact with non-Buddhist religious leaders than he does with other Buddhists. And he felt like that it shouldn't be like that, that the Buddhists should really know each other and talk to each other and work together and, in terms of social issues and things like that, peace issues, we should have a united front. And so his idea in writing the book was so that different people from the different Buddhist traditions would learn about each other's teachings and really see the similarities in our teachings, and also the different perspectives that are there on some topics. So I feel that in the West, with all of us meeting for over 2 decades now, we're already fulfilling His Holiness's wish, at least in the West, at least in the West Coast of the U.S., of, monastics from different traditions getting together in friendship and getting to know each other and practicing together. And so I think it's a very good sign for Buddhism in general that happens, and especially for the monastics, because traditionally the monastics have been the ones charged with sustaining the teachings from one generation to the next. Yeah, because monastics live in a monastery. When there's a monastery, then society knows where they can go to hear the Dharma. If, you're a lay practitioner, you live on your own, your family house can't be that kind of place, And the monasteries, monastics in general, kind of act as, in a way, like a conscience for society, because we're trying to live differently. We're trying to really live a simple lifestyle with care for our environment, without consumerism and materialism, in harmony, getting along with each other. And so I think the monastics are really setting a very important example for the rest of society. And right now there's so few of us in the U.S. that it's wonderful when we can get together and really support each other and show to all the lay Buddhists the joy that we have in being monastics and the beauty of monastic life. So next year's, gathering will be at Land of Medicine Buddha. Oh, okay, at LMB in the San Jose area. So again in October.